Hello, welcome to Module 2. I think it might be helpful for you to know a little bit about Kathleen's and my speech journey. Kathleen was born in 1988, and at that time we knew very little about her condition. We learned that she had no corpus callosum in her brain and that she would be significantly delayed. I didn't really know any other child like her. She had severe seizures till she was 5, and then they were brought under control with medication. She was a happy, silly, loving little girl, but she had very little speech. There were basically 4 words she could say: mom, baby, which she said like baba, home, and up. These came and went. Sometimes she'd learn a new word, but then I'd discover that she had lost an old word. Or sometimes one of the old words would come back, but then I'd discover she had lost one of the new words, so there were still only about 4 words. Well, when she was about 8, I started wondering why she didn't have more words that she could say. Why was it so few words that always seemed to be the same number always in her repertoire? And then I realized that all of those words contained the 4 same few consonant sounds: M, B, P, and H. So I suddenly thought maybe if I taught her some new sounds, it might just be that she didn't know how to make any other sounds, and if she learned some new sounds, she might be able to say more words. So I started trying new sounds with her. I couldn't think of any other way to do it, so I decided to just go through the alphabet. I'd have her repeat the sounds. A was ah, ah, ah. B was b, b, b. C was k, k, k. I didn't have her say the letter names, A, B, C, D. I just had her say the sounds. It's important to distinguish between those. What I would do is just put my face right up in front of her and ask her to try those sounds, and I kind of exaggerate my mouth as I did them. She loved this because she always has loved people's faces right up close to her, and so she thought it was a fun game. So if she couldn't say one of the sounds of the alphabet right after a couple tries, I'd just skip it. I'd just move right on to the next sound, but I'd always go through the whole alphabet with her. We did this almost every day. It took just a few minutes every single day, but she loved it so much that it was easy to do. Well, little by little, she started to repeat new sounds. And at that point, and this is a key thing, I also, once she would say a sound kind of consistently, I started having her say real words that also started with that sound or that included that sound. For example, if she would say "buh," I'd show her a book and she'd say "buh." I'd say, "Yes, you said book." We did the same thing with ball. Buh, boat, buh, bus, buh. Each time I treated the thing that she said as if she had really said that word. Even though they all sounded like buh, they were really book, boat, bus, etc. Well, soon it got to where if she'd find a picture of one of those things herself, she would say buh. And I treated that as if that was really a word. And apparently this is what she needed, because suddenly her vocabulary started to just expand and expand and expand. She went from independently being able to say 4 words to 20 words, and then there were 50, and then there were more than that. I got very excited about this, and I wanted to learn how to keep expanding her speech. At school, she was getting very little speech therapy, and the speech therapy she did get was mostly focused on listening, following directions, table manners, social skills, things like this. But nobody seemed very interested in actually hearing her speak. So I started looking to see if I could find some kind of class I could take just about speech development, so I could figure out why this was going right and what I could do. I discovered that the University of Wisconsin at Whitewater, which is only 20 miles from where I live, had a master's program in speech pathology. So I enrolled in that, and 3 years later I got my master's degree in speech pathology. Right after I graduated, I found a job as a speech therapist in our local school district, and I worked there for 13 years until I retired in 2016. In all that time, I absolutely loved my job. I worked with over 1,000 kids, but I never found a child who learned to speak the same way Kathleen had learned. Eventually, I discovered that what I had been doing was actually very similar to one type of therapy for apraxia of speech. Now, I don't know if Kathleen has apraxia of speech. She's never been formally diagnosed, but I think she probably does have it, but I'm not sure. But this technique worked with her. I kind of came at it through the back door, but it is a type of therapy for apraxia of speech. I'm still working with Kathleen, and she's still fine-tuning a lot of speech. She's still starting to expand her sentences even more. And I will have more. I'll have a video at the end of how she can speak right now. I'm hoping our journey will help some of you in working on your child's speech and communication skills. Thank you. I'll see you in the next module.